How we doing, Nation? John here. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you for doing all of the I want to be famous one day on YouTube crap, like the thumbs up and the subscribe and all that stuff. But seriously, thank you very much for being here. This morning / afternoon, it's actually this morning. I just got back from camping. It's probably not going to post till this afternoon because I ain't going to have time to upload it. Just got done showering, whatever. Poured a cup of coffee, son. And I wanted to talk about the camping because when you go camping, it's like one of the greatest times. If you've never been camping, you should try it. But when you go camping, it's great because my favorite time, I don't know about y'all, let me know in the comments, but my favorite time when I go camping is right as the fire's starting to die off for the night. You know you're going to let it die off because it's almost bedtime, and it's just, you just sitting there contemplating things. You know what I mean? It's late, it's dark, you can hear stuff in the woods, and it's a great time to think. So I did a lot of thinking while I was camping. I was only gone one night or whatever. I want to show you something real quick. And this is, in case you're interested in one of these, I'll link it down in the video description below where it says Beasley, because, hey, son, my favorite redhead. As I went camping, I figured, this is a perfect time to do a lot of YouTube stuff. So, yes, I actually do have, this is the bracket for it. This is the handle that turns into a tripod and everything for the GoPro. I've got the GoPro stuff. There's the charger. Don't know why I took that. The actual GoPro itself, and again, I'll link it down below. It does great. Stacks of batteries in here that were fully charged and ready to go. But it's weird because I got over there and I decided, you know what? I'm not going to do it. There's just something about having technology out when you're camping. Like, that's what you're trying to escape, I think. And that's the biggest thing that kind of hit my mind when I was over there, is this constant need for technology. And there's going to be a second video for the folks on Patreon and the Coffee Club. That's also linked down below in case you're interested, where I'm going to be railing on that very topic, and I'm going to get into it pretty deep. But my takeaway from this trip, after only one night again, is bugging out long term should be a last resort. I see a lot of people that we'll get into it this morning that kind of romanticize bugging out. They kind of make it seem like it would be great. And again, this is after one night, had a terrible night's sleep. Well, and I have what I would consider to be decent gear. Decent mummy bags, sleeping pads, and all this stuff. Stiff neck when you wake up. I'm a side sleeper. I know that's a bad habit, but it happens in the middle of the night. I don't even know what's happening, son. More times than not. Woke up, you got a hip pointer. And this is just one of the many bad things I think about bugging out long term and going off grid in that way. Again, second video for the Coffee Club and Patreon, we're going to be talking about going off the grid a totally different way, the digital grid. But I digress. Bugging out in the woods is doable, but it would be miserable. And I'm not going to sit here and spin it any other way. I have fun, again, great time to think, but it's the menial stuff that people don't often talk about. I love a campfire, but somebody has to keep the campfire going. Somebody's got to collect the wood. You've got to do all of this in kind of a timely fashion, namely before it gets dark, stuff like this. So group camping, not bugging out, but group camping for a weekend or a week, it's pretty fun. I mean, it gets boring after a while. If you've ever been, you know what I'm talking about, but it's pretty fun. It's exciting, but that's for entertainment. That's not for bugging out, end of the world type of stuff. As a matter of fact, I guess I got to go in and check, but there was supposed to be some old camping footage hit Prepper Nation, the channel, sometime yesterday around lunchtime or something, I think is what it was scheduled for. But and most people probably get it. That was a trip where it was for entertainment. We were just three guys having fun. That wasn't even my footage. That didn't come from my channel, just so y'all know. That came from Outlaw Preppers. But I took that footage and put it here because I think they're doing away with the channel that they have together. But anyway, if you're camping for entertainment, that's one thing. It's awesome. And again, a great time to think. But if you have ambitions of, and I will see this comment sometimes, not too often, but sometimes, the first sign of trouble, I'm bugging out. I would advise that you don't. Because it's miserable. For me, bunkering in is the plan. That's what I came home with this morning. I come straight home anytime I can. I come straight home. I take a shower and brush my teeth. These are the first two things. Got to do them. And because, it's just harder at a campsite to do it and to actually be comfortable while you're doing it. Yes, I'm into prepping. No, I'm not very much into homesteading, and I'm going to explain why in a second. This is not me pulling my drawers down, or jeans in this case, and taking a crap on homesteading. I think it's awesome. If homesteading is your thing, good for you. But it's not my thing. I believe that as somebody that's going to be focused on bunkering in as the primary plan, I think gardens are important. I think being able to can and preserve food and stuff like this, and purify water, I think all that stuff's important. But homesteading is just not for me. Full-blown homesteading, it's just not. I would be miserable doing it. I think there's some good things about it, especially if you got critters out back and stuff. But again, excessive amount of work. It's just not for me. It would consume every waking moment, basically. And anybody that homesteads full time probably knows what I'm talking about. And again, they may love it. I don't know, to each their own. Prepping is a lifestyle for sure. There are plenty of different ways to do it. You don't have to be a homesteader. You can be in an apartment prepper and put yourself, I believe, in that 10%, in terms of the other 90% not surviving. You can survive prepping in an apartment or a trailer or something like that without your own land. I truly believe that. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong, and that's going to come to bite me in the rear end. But for me, prepping is a lifestyle, but it's not life. It's not, I don't open my eyes in the morning and I'm automatically focused on prepping and all of the gloom and doom and all of the bad news all the time. This does not dictate my entire day. When I say prepping is a lifestyle, I'm talking about the way you think. When you're in a store, I'm looking for shortages. I'm trying to stay on top of the important news. The rest of it, I'm just flushing over here. I don't really care about the unimportant stuff. It's not life for me. Hanging out with my wife and kids, that's life. That's what I want to do. That's what I enjoy. I have hobbies too, like the retro gaming and the like the Axis and Allies, which is a tabletop game for those that aren't familiar. I have other interests. Prepping is the most important beyond, it's more important than retro games and stuff like that because my family's survival depends on it. But I'm literally doing it so my family can survive if something really bad happens. And I cannot imagine prepping being my life completely, just constantly living in fear. That cannot be a very meaningful life, if that makes any sense whatsoever. And again, getting back down to it, I think some people romanticize the idea of bugging out. These people that, again, will say, as soon as I see signs of it hitting the fan, I'm in the woods long term. Well, go for it. If that's what you enjoy, if you enjoy sleeping miserably, getting rained on, the elements all the time, constantly having to collect wood and fuel the fire, constantly having to carry water. You do you. But it's not for me. I think it's romanticized. I think, a lot of preppers that post content romanticize that idea. I think TV and movies do a lot of it too. There are a lot of survival movies, good ones, good survival movies. Red Dawn, y'all know this, is a fantastic movie. It's a classic. If you haven't seen it, go watch the original one. The reboot's not bad though. Point is, it shows you the high spots. It does not show you the mundane tasks that you're always going to be doing that are going to make you miserable 24/7. TV has a way of leaving that stuff out, and movies and things. And quite frankly, a lot of people on YouTube have a way of leaving that stuff out. And when you get right down to it, how long can you homestead and be left alone anyway? Or how long can you possibly bug out into the wild wilderness and be left alone anyway? These people right now they no longer allow you to own or purchase regular light bulbs. That's the world we're living in now, folks. You can't get regular light bulbs anymore. I just saw an article earlier this week. I think it's Illinois. They're now allowing illegals to become police officers, to go through the training and become police officers. These people inherently are breaking the law, and it doesn't matter. They're going to be police officers policing over citizens in Illinois. In other words, the world's upside down. The tyranny's not going to stop. These people are not going to stop. It ain't going to stop with light bulbs. It's not going to stop with illegals replacing you, becoming the law and order to kind of lord over you. It's never going to end. Do you think they're going to allow you to homestead long term? Seriously? Do you think that they're just not going to pass some kind of illegal law or regulation or mandate? Or do you think they're not going to show up and start inventorying your stuff, telling you these chemicals are bad for the planet, you can no longer use this, no more fertilizer? They're not going to stop. And homesteading, I think, is going to be the end goal for some. And I do think it's a good end goal. Again, I'm not trying to discourage you. If that's your thing, go for it. But understand, these people are not going to leave you alone. Some people, honestly, do you really think at any point now here in the United States of America, citizens are just going to rise up and stand up to the tyranny? No, they're not going to stand up. We've had opportunity after opportunity after opportunity where tyrants have been right in our face telling us, you're not allowed to leave your home without the proper paperwork because, hey, pandemic. You're not allowed to own, gas ovens now, gas water heaters. You're not allowed to own gasoline-powered lawnmowers and weed eaters. You're not allowed to own light bulbs. Light bulbs are killing the earth all of a sudden. They're not going to stop. They're going to continue to get in people's face. And quite frankly, if citizens were going to stand up, they would have done it by now. But they're waiting on somebody else to do it. Getting back just for a second, the illegals becoming cops in Illinois, I posted that. Some of the responses that I got were, well, the courts will step in and intervene and make this not happen, or the Fraternal Order of Police, they're going to eventually step in and they're going to strike this thing down, maybe. But the tyrants aren't going to stop, and eventually somebody's not going to stand up, and they're not going to get in the way. For me, and again, this is getting into the second video that's going to post later, it's not about can you survive out there, because many of us can. I don't think you should want to. I don't think you should romanticize about it. But I do think that most people here, if they had to, they could go tent camp long term and survive. I do. But can you exist in an increasingly digital world where everything is starting to require the internet, starting to require QR codes just to survive? Can you exist in a world like that? Can you exist off grid in that way? That's the question. Y'all let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you very much for being here. Y'all take care and God bless.